Business is booming when Caitlyn is involved. Saw demand increase 1,200% because of Clark. 1,200%.
The woman who is single-handedly changing the WNBA's future is being physically targeted on the court, and now we know why. Behind closed doors, the league gave its biggest star a shocking choice: show thanks or else. The main fight here didn't start on the basketball court. It started in a private meeting. We only found out about it when another star player, Napheesa Collier, spoke out against the league's boss. Collier is a star for the Minnesota Lynx and also a leader in the WNBA Players Association, the WNBA, or the Players Union. In a press conference, Collier ignored questions about the game and instead read a prepared statement. This was a planned move that showed there was a deep crack between the players and the league's boss, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Collier was firing a warning shot while the players and the league were arguing over a new contract called a collective bargaining agreement, or CBA. Collier told everyone what Engelbert said in a meeting back in February. Collier had asked the commissioner about low player salaries. She pointed out that superstar players like Caitlin Clark make huge amounts of money for the league, but get paid very little in salary. According to Collier, Engelbert's answer was shocking. The quote that started this whole mess was that Clark should be grateful for her off-court earnings. Collier claims Engelbert said, Caitlin should be grateful to make $16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. This one supposed comment shows how out of touch the league's boss might be. It suggests the league believes it is the only reason for Clark's success and that Clark owes the league for it. Collier also claimed Engelbert blew off player complaints about bad referees, saying that only losers complain about the refs. This claim wasn't just from Collier. It was quickly backed up by one of Clark's own teammates, Sophie Cunningham. Speaking on her podcast, Cunningham did not hold back. She called Engelbert the most delusional leader the league has ever seen, and a leader no one wants to follow. She said this way of thinking was damaging and detrimental or harmful for the WNBA's future. Cunningham thought the idea that players must always be grateful for a platform they earned with their own talent was crazy. To be fair, the WNBA Commissioner's office denies that Engelbert ever said this. This creates a she said situation. However, the idea that Clark should be grateful shows a big problem in how the WNBA thinks about its business. The demand for gratitude is an old-school way of thinking. The commissioner's alleged argument says the WNBA platform or stage is the main prize. The league thinks it gives Clark the stage, and she just performs on it. But the facts completely crush this idea. The evidence clearly shows that Clark isn't just using the WNBA's platform, she is actively making that platform way more valuable. Her being there is the reason for a 99% increase in TV viewers for her games and a 105% jump in ticket sales for the whole league. She alone is responsible for over 1/3 of all tickets sold. This isn't a one-way street. The WNBA isn't just giving Clark a platform. Clark is bringing her own massive platform, which she built in college, and adding it to the league. This makes the WNBA's product worth much, much more to TV networks and sponsors. The alleged demand for thanks, then, isn't just mean. It's a huge business mistake. It shows the league's leaders don't get that in today's world. Superstar athletes are not just employees. They are their own powerful brands. The WNBA's old audience is tiny compared to the audience Clark brings with her. In this new world, the league needs the star far more than the star needs the league. The idea that Caitlin Clark should be grateful can be easily torn apart with cold, hard numbers. The stats don't just suggest her value, they scream it. TV viewers, the Caitlin Clark effect is real. In 2024, her games averaged a massive 1.178 million viewers. All other WNBA games without her, they averaged just 394,000 viewers. That's a 99% difference. It's like two different leagues are being broadcast. Ticket sales, the same thing happened in arenas. The WNBA had its highest attendance in 22 years, all because of Clark. League-wide attendance is 105% higher when Clark is playing. Her team, the Indiana Fever, smashed the all-time attendance record for a single season, road games. She wasn't just a hero at home, she was the league's biggest attraction on the road. In one crazy example, the Washington Mystics team was 0-9. They hadn't won a single game, but they made over $1 million in ticket sales from just one game, all because Clark and the Fever were the visiting team. Fans were paying just to see her. Breaking through, Clark's power goes beyond just tickets and TV. Her merchandise sales set records. She's huge on social media, and she's pulling in fans the WNBA never had before. Her audience is 52% male, proving she can attract a huge new fan base. The final proof. Maybe the best proof against the WNBA platform argument comes from a completely different sport, golf. When Clark played in an LPGA Pro-Am golf event, interest exploded. Ticket sales for the event were 12 times higher than the previous year. That's a 1,200% increase. The Golf Channel even had to change its TV schedule just to show her playing the 18th hole live. This proves her platform is portable. Her audience follows her, not the league she plays in. She doesn't need a platform, she is the platform. If the league's bosses really feel this way about Clark, what message does that send to the other players on the court? The answer seems to be an unspoken okay to a more physical, aggressive welcome. The unspoken or else isn't a secret threat. It's happening in plain sight, game after game, with hard fouls and strange calls from the refs. The hits on the court seem to be the physical sign of the anger bubbling under the surface. A look at the hits shows a disturbing pattern. This is more than just a welcome to the league for a rookie. The most famous example is the Chennedy Carter hip check. The ball wasn't even in play. Carter just walked up to an unsuspecting Clark and shoulder-checked her to the ground. It was clearly not a basketball play, as Clark herself said. At first, the refs called it a common foul. Only after everyone got angry online did the league review it and upgrade it to a flagrant 1 foul the next day. The fact that the refs let it go at first sent a powerful message. Another telling moment happened against the Connecticut Sun. One player hit Clark across the face and no foul was called. Clark shoved her away. Then a second player, Marina Mabrey, jumped in and knocked Clark to the ground. After reviewing the play, the refs amazingly gave a technical foul to Caitlin Clark. For many fans, this was proof the refs were biased. This pattern followed Clark into the playoffs. In her very first playoff game, the Suns' Dejounte Carrington's fingernail stabbed Clark in the eye, hard enough to give her a black eye. No foul was called. The league failed to protect its biggest star on its biggest stage. This has started a huge argument. Why is this happening? On one side, people believe it's resentment. NBA champion Michael Thompson made up the name Jeep to describe it. Jealousy, envy, egos, and pettiness. This view says that older players are jealous of the instant fame and attention Clark gets. They feel they worked for years and were ignored. So the physical play is their way of putting the rookie in her place. On the other side is the welcome to the pros argument. WNBA legends like Diana Taurasi have said the league has always been physical. Taurasi said that new fans are really sensitive these days and that what they think is dirty is just pro basketball. But the or else is probably not a big plan. It's what happens when there is no leadership. When the league's boss supposedly thinks its biggest star should be grateful, it creates an environment where anything goes. The league's failure to punish these hard fouls sends a quiet signal. It tells the rest of the league that the normal rules might not apply and that veteran players are allowed to police the new star themselves. This lack of action from the top lets the players on the court make their own rules. The or else is just the physical result of the league's confused feelings. By not protecting its most valuable player, the WNBA is, in a way, letting the hits enforce the show gratitude idea. Underneath all the fouls and office politics is a deeper, more difficult conversation about the WNBA's identity. The drama around Caitlin Clark has forced the league to face tough issues of race, privilege, and who gets to be the face of the league. The most important person to listen to on this is A'ja Wilson, the Las Vegas Aces superstar and two-time MVP. Her comments aren't an attack on Clark. They are an essential way to understand the frustration of many of the league's established black superstars. When asked if race played a part in Clark's sudden rise to fame, Wilson said, "I think it's a huge thing. I think a lot of people may say it's not about black and white, but to me, it is." Wilson explained the painful truth for black female athletes. You can be top-notch as a black woman, but yet maybe that's something that people don't want to see. They don't see it as marketable. We're still going to be swept underneath the rug. She said black women in the WNBA have to work 10 times harder just to be seen. Wilson's words explain a real, long-standing problem. For years, the WNBA, a league that is mostly black, has struggled for fans' attention and big ad deals. Now, a white player has arrived, and almost overnight, brought the league all the things its black stars have been fighting for decades. But this isn't a one-sided story. Caitlin Clark herself has publicly agreed that her race plays a role. She said, "I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person there is privilege. A lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has kind of been built on them." She also said, "The more we can elevate black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing." Putting these two statements together, Wilson's frustration and Clark's acknowledgement is key. It changes the story from a simple fight into a complex but needed conversation. This internal struggle, however, creates a dangerous money problem. The very players who have the most to gain from the Clark boom are in some cases behaving in ways that could scare off the new fans. All this new money from tickets and TV is the single biggest weapon the Players Association has in its fight for better pay. Players like Nafisa Collier are fighting for a bigger slice of a pie that Clark just made 10 times bigger. But the constant stories about infighting, cheap shots, and arguments about race can be a big turnoff for the average sports fan. These new fans were drawn in by Clark's exciting style of play. They came for basketball. Many won't have the patience for all the drama. This creates a self-sabotaging problem. The short-term anger from veteran players threatens the league's long-term financial growth. It's a classic case of winning a small battle but losing the big war. The WNBA is at a major crossroads. The league is making more money than ever, but it seems to be at war with the one person causing it. The league's boss supposedly demands gratitude, while the players on the court deliver hard fouls. But while the WNBA debates what to do with its new superstar, it might be forgetting the most important fact: Caitlin Clark has options. The league's old-school belief that Clark would be nothing without the WNBA is dead wrong. A new, powerful player has entered the game. Project B, a rumored rival basketball league funded by Saudi Arabia. This new league isn't a joke. It has seemingly endless money. Reports say Project B is willing to offer massive contracts to big-name players. The numbers being discussed are mind-blowing, with a potential contract for a star like Clark reaching as high as $50 million. Now compare that to the WNBA. A supermax or top salary in the WNBA is around $249,000. This threat changes everything. The WNBA is no longer Clark's only option. This gives all the top players, especially Clark, huge power in their contract talks. The WNBA allegedly demanded gratitude from the one player who holds all the cards. The league told her she needed its platform, but a rival league is reportedly waiting to offer her a kingdom. With millions of new fans watching, the ultimate question is not whether Caitlin Clark is grateful enough for the WNBA. It's whether the WNBA is smart enough to realize who should be grateful to whom. The clock is ticking.